I never thought a phone call could change my life so much, but that's exactly what happened. One crisp autumn afternoon in Chicago, I noticed my phone ringing with an unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me pick it up. When I answered, I recognized the voice immediately, even though it had been years. "Samantha, it's Isabella," she said, sounding both formal and something else I couldn't quite figure out. "Isabella," I replied, trying to keep calm. "What's going on?" Isabella, my sister who I hadn't spoken to in years, was calling to tell me our grandmother had died. The news itself was shocking, but the way she said it made me feel like there was more to it. "I just wanted to let you know," she said with a hint of mockery. "I'm sure you're busy with your modest life." I could almost hear her smirking through the phone. Her words hurt, but I tried not to show it. "Thank you for telling me. I'll make plans to come." Her words not only hurt, but also brought back many memories. Growing up, Isabella was always the favorite. She had our father's approval and seemed to get everything easily. I, on the other hand, was often overlooked, no matter how hard I tried. Isabella and I hadn't spoken much in years. After she had stolen my fiancé, David, from me, I cut ties with her and the rest of my family. It wasn't just about the betrayal. It was about the unfair treatment I had always felt. David had been my fiancé, the love of my life, and we had plans together until Isabella, with her charm, got involved. David left me for her, and I was heartbroken. It wasn't just about losing him. It was a betrayal that left deep scars. Our family was always divided. Our father favored Isabella because she was like him. My mother, though caring, was often stuck in the middle. She tried to support me, but it was clear Isabella was the favorite. After the breakup, I chose a different path. I left my job as a school administrator to focus on raising my daughter, Lily. My husband, John, was a supportive tech executive who loved me for who I was. We had a cozy home in the suburbs and a life full of love. Lily, our 6-year-old daughter, loved drawing and even had a popular YouTube channel where she shared her artwork. Despite the happiness in my personal life, Isabella's call brought back a flood of old emotions. The idea of going back to the family home for the funeral made me nervous. I hadn't been there in years, and the memories were mixed. Our grandmother had always been kind and supportive. Her death marked the end of an era, and Isabella's call felt like I was being pulled back into a world I had tried to leave behind. I spent the next few days getting ready for the trip. The thought of seeing Isabella again filled me with a mix of dread and anticipation. It wasn't just about the funeral, it was about facing the family issues that had shaped so much of my life. I couldn't shake the feeling that Isabella's call had more to it than just the news of our grandmother's death. On the day of the funeral, I stood in front of the old family home. It looked exactly the same, yet different. It was like the walls held the echoes of our childhood, the laughter, the fights, the dreams, and the disappointments. Inside, the atmosphere was heavy with grief and memories. I saw familiar faces, some sad and others with hidden motives. As I moved through the crowd, I saw Isabella, her eyes scanning the room with practiced indifference. She was surrounded by people who seemed to hang on her every word, her charm still strong. I watched her with unease. Despite the years and distance, it felt like we were still in the same old struggle. Isabella's presence was a stark reminder of the family dynamics that had always been part of my life. During the ceremony, as the eulogies were being delivered, Isabella managed to corner me. "Samantha," she said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "It's been a while." I forced a smile and replied, "Yes, it has. How have you been?" "Oh, she replied, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "Life has been interesting." I could sense the undertone in her words, the same old rivalry that had never really gone away. Looking at her, I realized this reunion wasn't just about mourning our grandmother. It was about facing the past, the betrayals, and the choices that shaped our lives. Little did I know this encounter would lead to revelations that would challenge everything I thought I knew about my sister and our family. The days leading up to the funeral were tense and filled with unresolved emotions. I tried to focus on my family, John, Lily, and our daily routines, but I couldn't ignore the upcoming reunion with Isabella and the family I had distanced myself from. The familiar, painful echoes of the past were all too real. On the day of the funeral, the air was thick with grief and unresolved emotions. The family home was filled with relatives and friends, all paying their respects. The house, with its worn charm, seemed to watch over us like an old friend holding secrets. The walls felt heavy with the weight of past arguments, laughter, and hidden truths. As I entered the living room, I felt Isabella's eyes on me, her presence as imposing as ever. Her polished exterior masked the deep-seated rivalry that had always existed between us. She soon approached me again, her smile more genuine but still carrying an edge. "I've been meaning to catch up," Isabella said, her voice curious. "It's been a while since we've had a chance to talk." I forced a smile, trying to keep my emotions in check. "Yes, it has. How have things been for you?" "Oh, Isabella replied with a wave of her hand. "Busy, but good. I'm sure you've heard from the family about how things have been for me. I nodded, though I wasn't sure what she meant. The last I heard, Isabella was living a luxurious life in Los Angeles. The stories I heard painted a picture of success and perfection, but I knew better than to believe them completely. During the wake, Isabella flaunted her perceived success. She talked about her life in Los Angeles, her upscale lifestyle, and her supposed achievements. It was as though she was trying to outshine everyone to prove her life was better than mine. I watched her with a mix of curiosity and irritation. I knew beneath her confident facade was a tangled web of lies and manipulations. It was hard to ignore her mentions of David Parker, my former fiancé and now her ex-husband. Her casual references to him, her attempts to show she was unaffected by their failed marriage, felt like salt in an old wound. David had once been the center of my world. We had planned a future together until Isabella, with her charm, had stolen him away. The betrayal left me heartbroken and disillusioned. Seeing Isabella flaunt her life so casually was a painful reminder of the hurt I had tried to move past. I decided to confront Isabella about the past, hoping to find some closure. As the crowd began to thin out, I pulled her aside into a quiet corner of the house. "Isabella, can we talk?" I asked, trying to keep calm. She looked at me, narrowing her eyes a bit. "Of course. What's on your mind?" "I need to know why," I said, trying not to let my voice shake. "Why did you take David from me? What made you think you could do that?" Isabella's expression changed from fake cheerfulness to something colder and more calculating. "Samantha, it's not about taking anything. David and I had our own connection. You just didn't see it. You manipulated him," I said, my voice rising with emotion. "You knew how much I loved him." She shrugged like it didn't matter. "David made his own choices. You have to move on, Samantha. Life doesn't wait for anyone." Her dismissive attitude made me furious. "You never understood it, did you? It wasn't just about David. It was about how you always got everything while I struggled." Isabella's face hardened. "Don't blame me for your problems. We all have our battles. Maybe if you had been more assertive, things would have been different." Her words hurt, reopening old wounds. I wanted to lash out but took a deep breath to stay composed. "This isn't just about David. It's about our family and how things have always been against me." Before Isabella could respond, some distant relatives arrived and I had to step away, leaving the confrontation unresolved. The rest of the evening was a blur of faces and condolences, but my mind was stuck on the past and the issues with Isabella. The next day, as the funeral ended, I felt both relieved and worried. The family problems were still there, and I knew there was more to uncover. Isabella's perfect life was starting to crack, and I was determined to find out the truth. I left the funeral with a heavy heart but a new sense of purpose. There was more to the story, and I was ready to face it. The confrontation had set the stage for deeper revelations, and I was ready to uncover the lies and deceptions that had shaped our lives. In the days after the funeral, everything felt strangely calm. I kept replaying my confrontation with Isabella, trying to make sense of it. The family issues were still unresolved. My mother's apology was nice, but it didn't fix the years of problems. John and Lily were my support during this tough time. They sensed my distress but chose to offer comfort rather than prying into my troubles. Lily, with her innocent curiosity, continued to pour her heart into her YouTube channel, sharing her drawings with the world. Her joy was a bright spot amidst the darkness. Soon, the next part of this story began. Isabella, always dramatic, took to social media to mock me. Her posts were sarcastic, showing herself as successful while implying my life was dull. It was frustrating to see her trying to belittle my happiness so publicly. That's when Lily's YouTube channel became a tool in this battle. After a particularly cruel post from Isabella, Lily and I decided to use her platform for more than just showcasing her drawings. I helped Lily create a video that countered Isabella's lies, focusing on the positive aspects of our life and subtly addressing the falsehoods Isabella was spreading. The video, though seemingly innocent, had clear references to Isabella's attempts to undermine us. It quickly gained attention, and soon the comment sections of both Lily's channel and Isabella's posts were filled with reactions. People began to see Isabella's facade for what it was, a mask hiding her insecurities and deceptions. As the video went viral, Isabella's reputation started to crumble. The backlash on social media was quick and harsh. Comments pointed out the inconsistencies in her stories and questioned her integrity. The spotlight she had crafted was now exposing her vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, Isabella's personal life began to fall apart too. David, struggling with the public fallout from our confrontation and the negative attention on his and Isabella's failed marriage, made a significant mistake at work. This led to his dismissal from his job as a software engineer. The pressure was too much for him, and he fell into a deep spiral of self-doubt. Unable to cope with the financial and emotional strain, Isabella made a drastic decision. She filed for divorce, cutting the last ties with David. Their son James, caught in this turmoil, was placed into a care facility because of Isabella's unstable situation, a stark contrast to the privileged life she once flaunted. The family dynamics were changing fast. My mother, who had always favored Isabella, approached me with a heartfelt apology for the past. She admitted that her favoritism towards Isabella was a mistake and acknowledged the hurt it caused. "I'm sorry for everything, Samantha," she said, her eyes filled with regret. "We should have treated you better. I see now how much pain we caused." I appreciated her words, but the scars of the past were not easily healed. I chose to keep a distant but cordial relationship with her, focusing on what truly mattered: my family's happiness and well-being. Amid these revelations, John and I decided to take a break from the chaos. We planned a joyful outing to an amusement park, a chance for Lily to enjoy herself and for us to reconnect as a family. It was a reminder of the simple joys and the love we shared. The trip was everything we needed, a day filled with laughter and bonding. It reinforced the strength of our family and highlighted the content life we had built together. It was a much-needed break from the drama and reminded me of the importance of moving forward with love and support. As we enjoyed the day, I realized that while the past had its shadows, the future held the promise of light. With Isabella's downfall and the family's apologies, I felt a sense of closure. The journey was far from over, but for now I could focus on cherishing the present and looking forward to a brighter future. The weeks after our trip to the amusement park brought a profound sense of calm. My life, once shaken by family discord, was finding its balance again. As I looked around at my little family, I realized how much we had grown through all the trials. Isabella's downfall was a hard lesson, but it was a reminder of the destructive power of envy and manipulation. Her failed attempts to belittle my life had only served to bring her own downfall into the spotlight. The divorce, the loss of her son to a care facility, and her diminishing reputation were harsh consequences of her choices. David, once a part of my life and now a figure of past regrets, faced his own challenges. His dismissal from his job left him struggling to find his footing. Yet, despite everything, I felt detached from him. My focus had shifted entirely to my own family and the life we had worked so hard to build. John and I continued to nurture our relationship, finding strength in each other. Our daughter, Lily, thrived in her creative endeavors. Her YouTube channel remained a beacon of joy and positivity, helping to distract from the negativity that had surrounded us. Watching her grow and flourish was a constant reminder of what really mattered. One day I received a letter from my mother. In it she expressed her sorrow for the way things had unfolded and asked for forgiveness. Her apology was heartfelt, but I knew that mending our relationship would take time. I responded with kindness, acknowledging her regret while emphasizing the importance of moving forward. Our family dynamics had been permanently altered, but the experience had also brought clarity. My parents' favoritism towards Isabella and the subsequent fallout had taught me invaluable lessons about resilience and forgiveness. Healing from these wounds required more than just time. It required understanding and a willingness to let go of past grievances. In the quiet moments of reflection, I understood that the pain of the past had forged a stronger bond within my own family. John, Lily, and I were more connected than ever, and our shared experiences had deepened our appreciation for one another. We found solace in our daily routines and the small moments that brought us joy. As summer turned to fall, I began planning a new project, one that would honor the lessons learned and the family we had become. I started a community initiative focused on helping families navigate conflicts and build stronger relationships. It was a way to turn my experiences into something positive, offering support and guidance to others who might be facing similar challenges. Looking back, I saw how far we had come from those turbulent days. The confrontation at our grandmother's funeral, the subsequent revelations, and the social media battles had all led to a profound transformation. Isabella's story was a cautionary tale, but it was also a testament to my own resolve and the importance of moving forward with love. As I closed the final chapter of the story, I felt a sense of closure. The journey had been hard but also enlightening. The road ahead was filled with promise, and I was ready to embrace it with an open heart. In the end, it was the love of my family and the lessons learned that had guided me through. With John by my side, Lily's laughter brightening our days, and the community project taking shape, I knew that the future was ours to shape. As I looked forward, I carried with me the certainty that no matter what challenges lay ahead, our family's strength and unity would guide us through.